This is the Magain Aboth Synagogue in Waterloo Street, where 20-year-old Amirul Ali had planned to kill 3 Jewish men with a knife. The former full-time national serviceman has been detained under the Internal Security Act for self-radicalization and plotting a terrorist attack. Believing that Israel was oppressing Palestinians in the Israel-Palestine conflict, Amirul had planned to carry out the attack after Jewish congregational prayers on a Saturday. His goal was to kill 3 Jewish men, on the assumption that they would have served national service in Israel and carried out alleged atrocities against the Palestinians. Amirul planned to use a Smith & Wesson knife which he already owned, and to avoid damaging the knife or injuring himself, he made a replica to practice stabbing motions and grip techniques at home. He also downloaded an image of the human vascular system so he could identify the best spot to stab his victims and inflict a quick death from massive bleeding. He made at least 2 reconnaissance trips to the synagogue in 2019. Choosing not to take pictures to avoid attention, he downloaded a picture of the synagogue for reference. He eventually shelved his attack plans over concerns that he would not attain martyrdom.
And it shows that radicalization remains a serious threat in Singapore. This case, latest case, 20-year-old young man, he was affected by the Israel-Palestine conflict, so he wanted to kill Jews. So we now have 32 Singaporeans picked up since 2015. 31 of them affected by ISIS, Syria, now Palestine, and 1 young boy, far right. A few weeks ago, the facts came out. But the common thread across all these cases is that they were thinking of using violence. So people in Singapore are entitled to support the Palestinian cause or other causes. They get entitled to support Israel, they are entitled to support Palestine, they are entitled to support any other cause. What you can't do is take a knife out or a gun out to kill Jews or anyone else. That we can't accept. And that is what this young man is being detained for.
Amirul first became interested in the Israel-Palestine conflict back in 2014, when he was 14 years old, after watching a video which showed Palestinian civilians being bombed by Israeli fighter jets. Researching more online, he became convinced that Israel was oppressing Palestinians. Amirul had also planned to travel to Gaza to join the military wing of Hamas in its fight against Israel. He started supporting the group in 2015. In 2018, he and a foreign contact discussed his intention to travel to Palestine to take up arms with the military group. Amirul was told he would become a martyr if he died fighting against the enemies of Islam on the battlefield. Between mid-2018 and 2020, he researched travel routes to Gaza and practiced how to handle an AK-47 assault rifle using a replica which he made himself. The Internal Security Department's investigation so far indicates that Amirul had acted alone and there was no sign of him trying to influence or involve others. His immediate family and friends were also not aware of his attack plans. Earlier this morning, Muslim and Jewish community leaders convened at the Magain Aboth Synagogue in a show of solidarity.
We are certainly very troubled and saddened by this case of a Muslim youth who had made plans to attack this sacred space that we stand on, the Magain Aboth Synagogue and its congregants. And of course, just over a month ago, there was another planned attack on the mosque goers, and we feel this must stop. And this does not stand for, this is not what our religion stands for. There is no place for such beliefs, and we can do more to protect our community and our young from such radical and extremist ideologies.
It is important at this moment to realize that we're all in this together. I think it's important to strengthen the bonds of friendship that we have with our communities, and really to try to work down to trickle it down to the grassroots levels. We've invested a considerable amount of effort and resources in guaranteeing and making sure that we have the security personnel in place, security measures are implemented on a daily basis all the time, and we're going to have to further enhance that and to see how we can improve. That is definitely something that's going to be needed to send a message of calm to our community, so that there's no backlash, that there's no immediate negative impact and reaction from on the part of our members.
However, Law and Home Affairs Minister K. Shanmugam said that any additional security measures will have to be implemented with caution.
When you walk into a synagogue or a church or a temple or a mosque, how would you feel if the place looks like a fortress, a cantonment, with armed guards patrolling it? Is that how we want to turn our places of worship into? I think there needs to be some level of security. And depending on the perception of threat, there may have to be some guards inside, but I think we need to be very, very careful how we do it. And otherwise, places of worship won't look or feel like places of worship.